final chains are not forged from iron, but from light and code. They are presented not as shackles, but as conveniences, a seamless upgrade to the clumsy money of the past. The central bank digital currency is the endpoint of a long journey away from tangible value and toward absolute control. It is the perfect fusion of finance and surveillance, a monetary system where every transaction is not just recorded, but pre-approved, where your ability to participate in the economy is a revocable privilege granted by the state. This is not currency as you have known it, a tool for exchange and a store of labor's value. This is currency as a leash, a direct neural interface to the economic body of the nation, and its implementation will mark the quiet, bureaucratic end of financial privacy, personal autonomy, and ultimately, freedom itself. Understand first the fundamental difference between what you have now and what a CBDC proposes. Your current digital money in a bank account or on a payment app is a liability of a private bank. The bank owes you that value. The CBDC is a direct liability of the central bank, the Federal Reserve. It is not money in a bank, it is money as the bank, with the government as the sole ledger keeper and final arbiter of every single transaction. This architecture eliminates the middleman and in doing so, eliminates any buffer between you and state power. Your financial life ceases to be a relationship with a private institution and becomes a direct unilateral relationship with the sovereign. This is the essential, catastrophic shift. The state is no longer a regulator of the monetary system. It is the sole operator, and you are merely a node within it, with permissions that can be edited with a keystroke. The initial sales pitch will be irresistible. They will speak of eliminating poverty with direct, targeted stimulus. They will promise the end of costly banking fees and the horrors of check cashing services. They will hail the death of the underground economy, of tax evasion, and of illicit transactions. They will paint a picture of a clean, efficient, and fair financial utopia. What they will not say aloud is that to target stimulus is to define deservingness. To eliminate illicit activity is to define what is licit, a definition that can expand to encompass any behavior the state disapproves of. The convenience of a universal digital wallet is also the convenience of a universal cutoff switch. The arguments for this system will all be framed in the language of benevolence and safety, making dissent seem not just skeptical, but morally suspect, an endorsement of crime and inequality. Now, envision the mechanics of control made trivial by this technology. Every CBDC unit is programmable. This is its most dangerous feature. Money can be given an expiration date, forcing you to spend it by a certain time, abolishing the very concept of savings for those reliant on state disbursements. It can be restricted for use on certain categories of goods, so housing vouchers can only pay rent. Food benefits can only buy state-approved nutritional items. It can be geographically limited, usable only within a certain municipality or region, crippling your ability to move. Imagine a climate emergency declared, where your digital dollars are programmed to be unusable for purchasing gasoline or meat or air travel. The control is not exercised through law enforcement, but through the silent, automatic denial of the transaction at the point of sale. You are not arrested. You are simply made incapable of performing the act. The sovereignty of the individual is erased by the sovereignty of the algorithm governing the currency. This leads directly to the social credit integration. The CBDC provides the perfect, unavoidable platform for a behavioral scoring system. Your transactions are no longer private data. They are the primary data stream for your loyalty score. Purchase too much fuel? Your carbon score drops. Donate to a political cause or religious organization deemed problematic. Your social cohesion score declines. Subscribe to media outlets labeled as misinformation. Your credibility score is affected. These scores can then be linked automatically to the functionality of your money. A low score could result in higher interest rates on loans, a decrease in the velocity at which you are allowed to spend, or the imposition of monthly holding limits. Your economic life becomes a constant test, a game where the rules are opaque and the penalties are instantaneous and absolute. Your freedom to spend becomes contingent on your compliance with 1,000 unspoken social and political norms. Consider the death of dissent under such a system. Under a CBDC, protest becomes a profound financial risk. The state or the corporate entities granted access to its ledger could instantly freeze the assets of individuals or groups organizing dissent. They could do so under the broad, pre-existing terms of service you agree to when you open your digital wallet, claw out inciting unrest or creating public disorder. Your ability to buy food, pay rent, or access medicine would be contingent on your political silence. Strikes would be impossible, as the wallets of participating workers could be frozen, starving them back to work in days, not weeks. Charitable giving to controversial causes could be blocked at the source. The financial persecution of political enemies moves from the messy realm of audits and investigations to the instant clean realm of account permission toggles. The chilling effect would be total, creating a society of perfect, self-policing conformity. The erosion of privacy is absolute and unprecedented. In a cashless, CBDC-based economy, there is no such thing as an anonymous transaction. Every coffee, every book, every donation, every gift, every payment to a friend is recorded, time-stamped, geotagged, and permanently stored on a government-accessible ledger. This creates a financial panopticon, a complete life log of your associations, your habits, your health, your beliefs, and your vulnerabilities. This data will be analyzed by artificial intelligence systems trained to predict behavior, to flag anomalies, and to profile risk. You will live in a world where the state knows you purchase a certain medication and therefore can infer your health condition. It knows you buy certain books and can infer your political leanings. It knows you send money to certain people and can map your personal network. This is not privacy loss. It is the end of the very concept of a private life. Your inner world is inferable from your financial data, making you transparent and utterly malleable to power. The potential for abuse extends to the most intimate forms of coercion. Imagine a tax system that is no longer annual but real-time, with automatic micro-deductions from every incoming payment. Imagine automatic fines for speeding or other infractions, deducted instantly without a court date. Imagine a system where child support or other legal obligations are automatically garnished, not as a percentage, but by controlling the destination of funds before they even reach you. The individual is reduced to a passive conduit for pre-programmed financial flows, with no agency to dispute or even temporarily withhold payment while seeking recourse. The legal principle of innocence until proven guilty is financially inverted, with penalties applied first and appeals possible only after you have already been punished. Finally, witness the death of alternative economic systems and personal resilience. Cash is the last vestige of a transaction outside the formal, surveilled system. It allows for informal economies, for neighborly help, for garage sales, for children's lemonade stands, for the small, unmeasured acts of human exchange that build community. It allows for saving outside the system, for hiding resources from an abusive partner, for fleeing a dangerous situation, for maintaining some semblance of autonomy in a crisis. A mandatory CBDC abolishes this final buffer. It makes every person completely dependent on the digital infrastructure and the goodwill of its administrators. In a power outage, a cyber attack, or a simple bureaucratic error, your entire economic existence is suspended. You are not a citizen, you are a hostage to the stability of the servers and the benevolence of the ruling code. The transition will be marketed as inevitable progress, a necessary step into the modern world. To oppose it will be framed as the irrational clinging of the paranoid and the antiquated, but do not be mistaken. The central bank digital currency represents the most perfect tool for totalitarian control ever devised by man. It consolidates the powers of taxation, surveillance, law enforcement, and social policy into a single automated financial management system. It makes freedom of association, freedom of movement, and freedom of speech financially impossible to exercise without state approval. The digital dollar is not money. It is a license issued by the state subject to endless conditions and instantaneous revocation. Its adoption is not an upgrade. It is the final voluntary step into a digital plantation where we are all sharecroppers on the ledger. Our labor and our lives for itemized in a database we can never own, ruled by an algorithm we can never appeal. The end of freedom arrives not with a knock on the door, but with the soft, final click of a transaction.